How you doing? My name is Chris Calzanetti. I'm with the American Implement in Garden City. I'm in sales here. Today we're going to talk about the next generation of 8Rs. As you can see behind me, we have the new 8RX. Real exciting to see this tractor out. As you can tell, it's something completely different, new. We'll go into the details. So, starting off on the hood, we have a completely different hood design and actually a new way of looking at the decals or the horsepower rating of these tractors. Before we had 8 360Rs, 8 360RTs. Well, now what we have is we have the 8RX 370, which this is a 370 horsepower tractor. The RX stands for the 4-track. We will have an 8R 370 or a 8R T 370. So the decals on that have been updated and changed. What Deere's done on this design is given a little more modern, slicker look, a little more boxier, edgier design. As we talk about our track system here, this is something that Deere has completely designed. We did not take a row crop wheel tractor, take the tires off and just put tracks on and say, hey, we have an 8RX. Deere completely designed this from the front to the back, all about 4-track design. Starting on the front here, what they started with is a 1500 front end axle, which they've had out for years. It's a very reliable, simple axle. And what they did is they beefed it up, made it more heavier duty bearings, heavier duty casting, and it's the 1700 front end. That front end is only for the 8RX. It is a pressurized, hydraulic controlled and lubricated front end with hydraulic front lock. As we come around to the side here, so what we have now is on our tracks, we have several different configurations we can do. We can go all the way from 18 to 24 on the front. We can go from a spacing of 76 all the way out to 120. So you can set this to whatever fits best your operation. On the rears, what they did was we can go all the way down to a 18 and up to a 30. And you can mismatch. You can have a 24 on the front and a 30 on the rear. You cannot do 30s on the front though, however. 24 is the largest you can go on this tractor. From the bogey wheel standpoint, we got a 2 set up here and a 3 on the rear. John Deere's been making track tractors for years. They've got a lot of research, a lot of knowledge on how to make this work properly and be reliable. All of our bogey wheels right here, we're running High Guard hydraulic oil. It's a 1500 hour check, add fluid system. You do not have to change it. It's simple, reliable, and it's something that will last the customer for years to come. Same as the rear on the 3 bogey wheels. As we work our way to the back, you will see that this rear end is something that has not been seen before. It sits a lot taller. It's more robust. It's a heavier duty design. It was designed in mind for this system, for this tractor. That is not just the same rear end off a wheeled tractor or even an RT standpoint. It is a completely redesigned rear end for this application in this tractor. Our drawbar actually sits out farther than our wheeled and our 2-track system. And the reason for that is for turning radiuses. So that way when you are pulling any type of tool, you don't have to worry about running into it. As you can see, these fenders is pretty futuristic looking. The reason that they are set up like this is we have controls on the back here. One, we can control our SUV, hitch, and our PTO. It's really nice that they have it placed at this level. You're not having to reach above or below. It's at a nice level for the operator to use. So the biggest change that they have on these new generation 8Rs is the fan drive. We're real excited about that. We are no longer using a variable fan speed with the belt and shims. It's a direct drive Veliscus fan. It is in its own oil bath on a chain drive. I'm real excited to see that fan drive out. I know it's going to be a big benefit to our customers. We're going to be able to keep this engine running longer, cooler, save fuel, and downtime. So one of the cool things that they did on this tractor and all new 8Rs and 7Rs is we got a decal sticker here, and it's kind of comical that we can think of a little sticker on the side of a tractor to be a big deal, but in this case it's huge. What Deere did was they gave the customer all the part numbers, filters for this tractor, the capacity on fluids for this tractor, and actually details of how often and where to check for service intervals. That is a very big deal. The customer will benefit hugely from this, just knowing that when they're servicing this tractor during the wintertime or during the summertime, all the information's right there. So when they make that phone call, they're coming to the store, there's no questioning on what they have, and it'll be a lot easier and simpler for the parts and for the customer to get what they need. One of the biggest introductions for this tractor is actually a cab suspension. This is a really nice feature they put on this tractor to help with the ride. As you can see, what we have is a fixed suspension, mechanical. There is no hydraulic control or electric control. What we're doing is we're using basically 2 shocks on each end, on the front and the back, torso bars, to make sure that as we're going over any type of terrain, it adjusts and keeps that customer and operator comfortable throughout the ride. That is actually available too now on the RT tractors. So that will be a huge benefit for the customers, especially if you're in the tractor for several hours of a day. It won't make you feel like you're so beat up. So let's jump up in the cab. That's the biggest redesign for the new 8R. A lot of great comforts in there, and we'll go over each detail and show you guys what we have. So right here we have the new John Deere cab, completely redesigned from the bottom to the top. John Deere has really done a good job of thinking of all the little things as well as the big things. One of the big things they changed was the way that the HVAC system works now. We took it from the top, moved it down to the bottom. We have our vents now more in front of the operator. We've got one to the left and to the right. So we have good airflow, climate control. Operator's gonna be comfortable for several hours of a day while he's operating the tractor. The other nice feature they did is we got a nice swivel, we have great visibility, and we got a new redesigned chair. What they did with the chair is just made it that much better, that much more comfortable, adding features like massager, heating and cooling, more options on how you'd like to be sitting in it. We've got we have an electric slide button now rather than the old-fashioned pull and slide feature. Our command arm has not changed a whole lot compared to our previous series. We still have our controls over here for the fan, HVAC, climate, radio, so on and so forth. Our hydraulic system has not changed. We still have our toggle switches here and our throttle. The biggest change and new feature that they came out with on a large frame 8R is now the Command Pro hydro handle. This is an option for the IVT, and it really gives that operator the customize how they would like to operate this tractor. It gives you a really new experience of driving this machine. You have the option of a left-hand reverser to go forward or back. If you prefer not to, you can actually bypass that and use it strictly by yourself. You do have a foot throttle that can also be used as a feature. So you have 3 options of using this tractor in the way you'd want. The nice thing about this new command arm is that you can actually customize it on what you're doing. If you're running a planter or any type of hydraulic application, you can set your buttons for shortcuts where you can just press and everything is in one simple motion rather than having to go back and forth. As we look over here, we moved our refrigerator to the top. Our instructional seat is still right where it's always been. We have nice foot pegs that gives that operator that much more convenience and creature comforts to experience throughout the day of operation. One of the biggest features they've added is this new premium radio. It's new, touch, is Bluetooth compatible. You can even hook up your iPhone if you have Apple Play and listen to your music. So the operator can actually be in a very nice climate controlled comfort all day and listen to anything he'd like through the new radio. They offer 3 different configurations for cabs. They offer a Select, a Premium, and an Ultimate, as well as a John Deere Signature. The John Deere Signature is basically the most loaded up cab you can get with every option. The nice thing about these different configurations is if a customer would rather have a Select with not necessarily all the high-end bells and whistles but a better light package, you can mismatch that or have one or the other. It gives that customer more options and more flexibility on making the tractor how they want it. If you do have any more questions on this tractor, feel free to contact myself or any salesman or any employee at American Implement that you know.